On July 13th, 2024, former President Donald Trump survived an assassination attempt during a campaign rally in Pennsylvania. Thomas Matthew Crooks, a 20-year-old from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, fired shots from a rooftop, piercing Trump's right ear and killing one attendee while critically injuring two others. The shooter was eventually killed. This raises some serious questions. Who is Thomas Matthew Crooks, and what was his motive to do such a thing? Was this a massive security fail, or could it have been an inside job? What does this mean for the 2024 US elections, and how will it impact America and ultimately the world? These are the questions we'll be exploring together today. Welcome to Finding Freedom. Welcome back to Finding Freedom, the show that empowers you to be the freest version of yourself, one critical question at a time. Just to set the record straight, the show is not political by nature. The Finding Freedom show and myself have no political affiliations whatsoever. Let's also be very clear. I do not condone violence in any way, shape, or form. Freedom of speech should never lead to harm or violence under any circumstances. Now, let's get into the speculation surrounding this assassination attempt. Could it have been political sabotage? Maybe some political opponents wanted to take matters into their own hands. Or could it be that the shooter had insider help? Eyewitnesses claim that they saw the gunman on the roof and alerted the police, but no action was taken. If that's true, it's pretty suspicious, isn't it? Another speculation floating around is about angry insiders. Could someone within the security detail or campaign have turned a blind eye, or worse, actively helped the shooter? There are also talks about the deep state and whether or not it had a role to play in this. There are people who believe high-level officials wanted Trump gone because of his disruptive policies. Now, it's important to remember that these are all speculations at this point. The FBI is still investigating, and we need more facts before jumping to conclusions. But this does make you wonder, are these political divisions orchestrated to keep us fighting and divided? Is this all part of a sinister game? Let's take a look back in history. Assassination attempts on US presidents are nothing new, and each one left a mark on the country. Let's quickly run through some. Abraham Lincoln, 1865, shot by John Wilkes Booth. Lincoln's assassination plunged the nation into chaos during the Civil War and shaped the Reconstruction era. James Garfield, 1881. His death led to the Pendleton Civil Service Reform Act, ending the patronage system. William McKinley, 1901. This brought Theodore Roosevelt to power, who then pushed through significant progressive reforms. Franklin D. Roosevelt, 1933, survived an attempt by Giuseppe Zangara, but Chicago Mayor Anton Cermak was killed. This was a tense time during the Great Depression. And of course, we all know about John F. Kennedy, which might be the most famous assassination of all time. 1963, assassinated by Lee Harvey Oswald, an event drowning in conspiracy theories that profoundly impacted the US. And in 1981, Ronald Reagan survived an attempt by John Hinckley Jr. Reagan's resilience became a symbol of strength, but it also led to tighter security for presidents to come. The attempt on Trump's life is the latest in this pattern, showing how political violence continues to shape US history. The fallout from this attempt could be massive. It might change how the 2024 elections play out, making security a top priority and potentially rallying Trump supporters even more than before. Many people think this has immortalized Trump and even turned him into a hero, and that he's already won the election. Globally, it could alter how the US is perceived. Will the allies of the states view it as unstable? Will rivals like China and Russia see this as a chance to shift the balance of power? What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to read them. In times like these, the future can be very unpredictable. Every facet of life will inevitably be impacted, from economy to public policy and other areas of everyday life. This will have an undeniable effect on you wherever you are in the world. Because let's face it, American politics certainly affect global politics in many ways. This event might be used to introduce more restrictions and limitations on people and be used to further mitigate the freedom of people worldwide. So, what are some of the things I could do to protect myself and my personal freedom in such unpredictable times? Here are some of the things I would personally do. I would make sure to be as financially independent as possible. I diversify my income and I wouldn't rely on a single job or a single source of income. I'd also invest in my education. I'd acquire new skills that are in high demand and keep up with emerging technology like AI, and I'd learn how to use it to my advantage. I would save and budget. I'd create an emergency fund with at least 3 to 6 months worth of expenses, and I'd make sure I'm not living paycheck to paycheck. I'd make sure to be self sufficient. I'd grow my own food. I'd hunt for my own meals. And I'd learn basic skills like carpentry or basic mechanics. Community is absolutely essential in these times. I'd build meaningful relationships and have a community around me that has people who share similar values to myself and who want truly what's best for me and for society overall. I'd stay connected and informed and find alternative news outlets that are reputable and reliable, and always diversify how I get my news and not ever rely on a single source. I'd make sure to always cross reference everything I hear and ultimately pass it through a filter of logic and common sense. I'd be prepared for the worst, to be honest. Now, I'm not telling you to be a doomsday prepper and wait for the apocalypse. I am interested in the present and in reality, but it's also good to have a backup plan. We all saw what happened in 2020 and how people were fighting over toilet paper like peasants. Be more civilized than that and just have what you need prepared in a reasonable way to protect yourself and your family. Faith above all else. Faith is a must, it's a non negotiable. Having a firm belief system that's solid is essential. And if you believe in nothing, you'll absolutely fall for anything. Engage in activities that build mental and emotional toughness. And exercise is definitely at the top of the list. A strong mind is in a strong body. I'd make sure to have a supportive network. I'm going to surround myself with supportive and positive people. A strong community and close relationships can keep a person firm and grounded and help resist manipulation in every single form. It's also very important to note that being too heavily invested in a single narrative and not using critical thinking and common sense can lead to extreme actions. That's why it's crucial to be a free thinker, critically analyze the world around you, and diversify your methods of consuming information. Never blindly trust anything without logically dissecting it first. Right now, we're living through a moment in history that's going to shape many significant outcomes for the future of the world. What are your thoughts on what happened, and what do you believe will happen in the States and in the world moving forward? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to hit subscribe and share the video with someone you care about. Thank you for joining me on the journey towards finding freedom. Stay curious, stay critical, and most importantly, stay free.